All right, folks, buckle up because what you're about to watch is the prosecution doing something really smart. They're not just telling the judge what happened, they're about to show her. This is the art of building a case visually, and it matters more than people realize. Pay close attention to how they use geography to connect the dots.
And that's the end of that video. Just so the court knows, there's another angle of that video on this particular USB drive she'd like to see, but it's just a different angle from the side, right? But it
Yes.
shows essentially the same thing that we just witnessed here on the first clip, for the record, ending in 942, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, there's been some testimony about locations in this case, particularly where the shop is located there on West Parkway Street there in Groves, where the gas station, the Murphy gas station, is located on Twin City Highway, and then where the Smoke Corner is located on Main Street or Main Avenue in Groves. Is it fair to say that all of those locations are about within 3-mile radius of each other?
Yes.
Now, you didn't testify to this. There was testimony from the probation department that this defendant's home address was at 4440 Gulfway, Port Arthur, in Port Arthur, Texas. That, if I represent to you that that is also within the 3-mile radius of the auto body shop, would you have any reason to dispute that or disagree with that?
No.
In fact, may I approach the witness, Judge?
You may.
You and I, we worked on a map that we thought may assist the judge in understanding the testimony. And for the record, I'm marking this as states 3. Is it fair to say this is a Google map?
Yes.
A Google map of the Port Arthur area?
Yes.
Port Arthur and Groves, right? Any reason to doubt that this is in fact, you're familiar with these locations, the Murphy gas station and obviously your Groves auto body shop and
Yes.
these streets, these landmarks, you're familiar with this.
Yeah.
Any reason to doubt that it's fair and accurate?
No, not at all.
Would it help this judge understand your testimony and the evidence in this case if we're able to utilize this map?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, state offer states 3. I'll tender to defense counsel for her exception. Yeah, yes, ma'am. This is one. Number 1 is the auto body shop. Number 2 is the Murphy USA. Number 3 is the defendant's home address. And number 4 is the Smoke Corner.
Did you catch that? The prosecution just introduced a Google map marked as States Exhibit 3 pinning for key locations. The auto body shop, the gas station, the defendant's home address, and the Smoke Corner shop, all within roughly 2 to 3 miles of each other. That's not a coincidence. The prosecution is going to let slide their building a geographic web, and the defendant is sitting right in the middle of it. Classic proximity argument.
That's as if the state is using it for a demonstrative. It doesn't necessarily have the exact address it's listed, but I'm not sure if that is the. I'm not sure if that is the address. It's just not on that one. So no objection, it's fine.
All right, stage 3 is admitted.
Permission published.
Sure.
And Morgan, I've got a number here. Number 1 is the Groves auto body shop, and here is number 1 here. And then number 2 is the Murphy USA gas station. Number 3 is the defendant's home address at 4440 Gulfway. And then number 4 up top here is the Smoke Corner. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Again, all within about a 2 or 3 mile radius of the Groves auto body shop, correct?
Yes.
Now, you mentioned another car that was taken. What, if anything else, was taken?
It's a credit card.
Were there any unauthorized charges on that credit one, credit card?
There was not, because I keep my credit cards turned off until I use them.
Now, just to be clear, just some housekeeping questions here. The Nature's Federal Credit Union card was not issued to this defendant, correct?
No, it wasn't.
It was issued to you as the cardholder, correct?
Yes.
You didn't give the defendant consent to use the card, did you?
No.
What, in your opinion, based on the evidence in this case, the video, what, in your opinion, happened as it relates to the transactions on that Nature's Federal Credit Union card?
That she took my card and used it.
And if she didn't use it, then what?
She could have given it to someone else.
And they ultimately used it, right? Either one of those two scenarios.
Yes.
Here's a key legal moment, and you might have almost missed it. The prosecutor just walked the witness through what lawyers call the party liability theory. Under Texas law, you don't have to be the one who actually swipes the card to be criminally responsible. If you handed it to someone who used it, you're in just as much trouble. The witness confirms it. That's two scenarios, both roads leading back to the defendant.
Which would make her a party to it, to the offense, if she gave it to somebody else to use.
Yes.
I think we talked about the fact that you contacted the police. You also gave them a written statement, correct?
I did. Yeah.
And the written statement that you gave them, is it the same as your testimony here today?
Yes.
All right, pass the witness check.
Real quick, the 500, the restitution
Oh, yes.
shows 576.74 with a $500 deductible for an auto claim.
Could you explain that? That's what we were talking
Did I
about, the
miss-
payment plan, right?
Oh,
It
the
wasn't necessarily-
deductible.
Yeah, I'm sorry, let's not talk over each other because it's hard for her to take it down, but my understanding is, that's what she was paying out in the way of her deductible for her work on her vehicle, right?
So the insurance had paid for everything except $500, and the deductible is due at the time of pickup. The owner, Mr. George Gould, he allowed her to pay $250 and then come back and pay another $250.
So did she paid $250 that day that she picked it up?
That I'm not sure of.
Okay.
That's
Thank you. Ms. Holmes?
Okay, Ms. Morgan. Do you had a chance to review the full video prior to court today?
I seen it whenever it was first given to the police.
Okay, so if you recall, and if we may need to play it back, if you recall, when Miss Graham is initially at the front, she actually hands cash to the lady who was taking payment. Do you recall seeing that in the video?
I don't.
Okay, well, if I represent to you that it is stated on video that Miss Graham did pay cash, in regards to, I'm not sure if the payment arrangement, but she did, submit cash to, Grove's Auto Body. Would you have any reason to dispute that if it's on the video?
No.
Okay. Now, I guess let me go back because I want to understand it myself, okay? Because it looks like, it's saying a total of loss of $576. Since you can't attest to how much she paid that day, so you are not fully aware if she actually had paid that full 500 on that day, correct?
I don't know what she paid that day, but I do know that I still work there and it still shows that she still owes $250. It's on her folder.
Okay, so let me take that logic with you. So if it's showing that she still owes $250, then that means that she would have had to have paid $250, at least $250 already to you all, correct?
Correct. I just didn't take the payment, so I'm
Yeah.
not.
Gotcha. Okay, and when Miss Graham came to make that payment, did you all keep the vehicle? Or did she take the vehicle?
No, she got her vehicle.
Okay, so she came to pick up the vehicle, she put a down payment, and then the payment arrangement was to her to come back at a later date to pay the remaining balance.
Yes,
Is that correct? Okay, okay, but she was allowed to take her vehicle that day,
yes.
correct? Okay. Do you recall what type of vehicle she drove?
I do not. I was not the estimator that was on her insurance claim.
Okay, okay, understood. Okay, the reason I wanted to ask you that is because obviously if it's, newer models or older models, some vehicles, because it appears that one of the transactions was for a Sirius XM
Yes.
radio. And so obviously some vehicles don't even have that capability to have Sirius XM radio. And so that's why I was curious as to if you were aware of how old her vehicle is.
That
The
I'm not,
age.
I
Okay.
don't know.
Okay. Now, on that particular day, so that was January 2nd, correct?
Correct.
2025. And do you recall about what time frame that Miss Graham was at the auto body shop?
I believe it's around 3.
3
It
p.m.
was in the afternoon
Okay, and what time do you all close?
at 5.
Okay, okay. Had there been any other customers coming in and around that time or that day?
No,
Okay. About how many customers would you say you all saw that day? Was it many?
I don't remember that.
Okay, okay, okay. Now, you stated that it appears that Mr. Graham went to the area where your purse was. Your purse was near. We can't exactly see it on video exactly where your purse is, but your testimony was that it was near. I guess the back was at a back wall.
The back wall, yes. I have a black file cabinet and I set it next to the file cabinet.
Okay, okay.
Now we're shifting gears, and this is where defense counsel starts doing her job. Notice how she's methodically chipping away at the certainty of the witness's account. The purse is near a file cabinet, but the video can't confirm exactly where. The witness believes someone took her card, but nobody saw it happen. This is reasonable. Doubt being built brick by brick, the prosecution has a strong circumstantial case. The defense is here to remind everyone what beyond a reasonable doubt actually means.
And in your opinion, you believe that she took the Nature's credit card, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and there were 2 purchases on the January 2nd, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, would you agree that you don't know 100%, obviously, because there is no, I guess, physical evidence of who used your card? You can guess or you can make an assumption, but do you know for sure that Miss Benita Graham used your card?
I do not.
Okay.
Stop, right there. The witness just admitted on the record that she cannot say with 100% certainty that the defendant used her card. No direct footage, no fingerprints, no one saw it happen. The defense just scored a major point in a criminal trial that matters enormously. The prosecution still has circumstantial evidence and witness testimony, but the defense has now planted the seed of doubt in the judge's mind. Remember, this is a bench trial. The judge decides everything.
Did the police, or are you aware, because if one of these purchases was at a gas station, do you know if they went and took that extra mile to confirm if she did use a card, if there were any cameras at this gas station?
I do not know if there's cameras at the gas station.
Okay, okay. Did the officers or the police department, any of them ever follow up with you in regards to that to make sure that this is the correct person, or if she's affiliated with possibly anybody who had used your card at this gas station?
I wrote when they came to talk to me at the Groves Auto Body, I wrote the statement and they had called and asked if we had the video footage.
Right.
We found it, so Mr. George put it onto the USB. We drove it to the police station.
Yes.
And
Well,
they said they would let me know of updates
Okay.
whenever they received any.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so you all were able to give them the video at your auto body, but you're not aware if they were able or did any additional investigation to obtain any video at this gas station, this
I do
Murphy's
not.
gas station. Okay. Okay, because obviously you do want the person who did use your card to be held accountable, correct?
Correct.
Okay, we just need to make sure it's the right person. On this particular day, did you, I do see that there was a bill paid, so is that an automatic payment on that day?
No, that is something on the Santander.
Mhm.
I pay that, like I go on my phone and pay that, and it usually takes 3 business days to process.
Okay, so you had maybe paid that, maybe on the first or prior to January 2nd?
Prior to that, yes,
Okay, and it posted January 3rd,
yes.
is that correct? Okay, okay. And is that in addition, it looks like it appears now. Did you go to Walgreens on January 2nd?
Not on January 2nd,
Okay, what day did you go to Walgreens?
on the 1st.
Okay,
It was before then because Walgreens is one that it doesn't post immediately.
mhm. Okay, so let me ask you this, if you can recall, where all did you go on the first?
Just to work. And then I had to stop by Walgreens on the way home for my fiance's medication.
Okay, and you didn't make any other stops on January 1st?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, is it possible that you could have made some other stops and you don't remember?
I do remember that I needed gas the next day and my car only takes $27 to fill up.
Okay,
And I didn't get gas on the 2nd. I was like, oh, well, I'll just go the next day.
okay,
And I didn't go the next day
okay,
because of the
okay.
hard
And
issue.
you typically get gas near the area of where you work or where you live?
Either Murphy's or like the one in Twin City or the one in Orange, depending on if I'm coming from home or if I'm, going and how much gas I have in my car.
Okay, and the Murphys on Twin City, is that considered the Port Arthur area? Or,
Port Arthur and Rose right there,
okay.
next to
So,
the Castle Lane, in front of the Walmart.
okay, okay. Is, thank you. Okay, so would this be the same Murphys that the court was used at, or are there, how many Murphys are on Twin City Highway?
Just that one, I
Just this?
believe, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this Murphy's is one, is, so you're familiar with this Murphy's on Twin City, that's one that you frequent to get gas, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
sometimes.
Okay, and you said it that you were to get gas, but you don't recall getting gas,
I did not get gas on the 2nd.
right, and not prior to the 2nd.
No, not prior to the 2nd because I needed to get gas, but I had enough to get back to Orange. So I didn't stop for any reason. Like I didn't stop on my way home at all.
Okay, okay. And when would you say was the last time that you got gas at Murphy's prior to the 2nd?
Probably 4 or 5 days.
Okay, okay, and did you fill up your tank?
Yeah, fill up my tank. It
Okay.
usually lasts about a week.
Okay, okay. And when you go to Murphy's, just making sure when you go to Murphy's, do you make any other purchase? Like, do you go inside? Do you get breakfast? Sometimes people get additional items
No, I always pay for my gas separate.
at the pump.
Yeah,
Okay. Now, when you pay gas, do you pay by debit or credit?
my debit.
Okay. So, when you pay for your gas, does it immediately come out of your account or does it take a few days?
Usually it'll say pending and then transactions usually post the next day.
Okay, okay. Okay, since you frequent this Murphy's, well, you may not know, but if you frequent, had you, after this, noticing that your card was used at Murphy's, did you go to Murphy's to inquire about any transactions that may have been made on the second or after?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Now this, I don't believe it's alleged, it's not anywhere in your statement or on the offense reports, but that smoke corner where it says a pre-authorization, I'm assuming that did not go through, correct? Because you had canceled your card.
Correct.
Okay. And it looks like whatever that one is, that would have been a 3-day hold. It appears on the bank statement. Did you recall that?
I've seen it this morning and then when I sent it to the
Okay.
police. But yeah, usually typically when I use my debit card, it
Mhm.
will say pending for 24 hours
Mhm.
and then it usually will come out the next day.
Okay.
And that wraps up this witness. Let's take stock of where we are. The prosecution established opportunity. The defendant was at the shop near the purse during a window with no other customers. They established geographic proximity using a literal map. They established that the card was used at locations the defendant frequented. The defense, meanwhile, successfully drew out that no one can confirm WHO used the card and that the investigation didn't go the extra mile to pull gas station camera footage. The judge has a lot to weigh. Up next, the defense may be about to call their own witnesses, and that could change everything.
I appreciate you, Ms. Morgan. Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
Thank you, Ms. Holmes.
No further questions, John.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. You can step down.
Okay.
Has no further witnesses, state rest.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman. Ms. Holmes, do you have any witnesses with regard to the allegations, whether or not they're true or untrue?
If I have 1 minute, Your Honor.